Hey Griffin, so today we're going to be going over loops, day 6 of your computer science packet. Now remember, loops are a way to simply organize code that repeats itself over and over, okay? So if we look at an example of code here, maybe I want to make this image of grass at the position X and Y, and then every time keep increasing it, plus 10 on my X, plus 10 on my X. I'd have to do that 10 whole times just to get 10 of these out, okay? Now, if I had to write that much code, okay, number one, my hands would start hurting, and number two, it's not as efficient as other methods, okay? So we could use a loop to simplify this repeated code to make sure that, okay, I don't have to write this 10 times, I can just use a loop. So instead, we can write it as a while loop, okay? What a while loop does is says, okay, while this is true, then execute this block of code, okay? Now, while X is under 100, we can just say, okay, I want grass to go up plus 10 every single time. So it starts out, let's say I have X equals 0. It says, okay, the first time it's going to run through, well, X is less than 100. Okay, I'm going to add 10, restart. Well, X is at 10, I'm going to restart again, and keeps going on until I get the same result that I had here. So that's the point of today. How can I turn repetitive code into loops, and what exactly happens within this box here, right? What exactly is happening to our variable X? So let's look at a model here. So I want to emphasize that today's focus is just how to read loops and understand them, okay? We're going to follow these 4 steps here. We're going to say, okay, what does our value start at? We're going to follow the code and change our start values as we go. We restart and check if code will run, and if not, done. If the code doesn't run anymore, we're done. If not, we're going to start at step 1 again. So let's look at this example here. It says write out what happens to X each time the loop runs. So notice here we have an X, it's our variable, it starts at 0, okay? Our loop is saying while X is less than 3, I want to, each time I run this, add 1 to X and then start over. So let's start with the runs, okay? So the runs will have the first time it runs, the second time, and the third, okay? Now the first time it runs, X is equal to 0, right? The very first time it runs, it says, okay, X is equal to 0, and then it's going to add 1. So then X is going to equal 1. Okay, what about when it runs the second time? Well, in the second time, X is going to be equal to 1. And then I'm going to add another 1 to it to have out 2. Okay, well, 2 is still less than 3, so I'm going to keep running this code. X is equal to 2. Well, this time I'm going to add another 1, and I'll have 3. Now, this loop right here stops on the third run. Okay, this loop stops because X is no longer less than 3, X is equal to 3, okay? So this loop stops, okay? It's done. So that's what happens in these loops, okay? They run until this condition right here is false. Okay, let's look at another example up here, okay? So this one is on your packet as well. It says try var equals 0, okay, and then it runs. So this one has a little bit more structure for you. It says our start value of X is what? Well, notice here, X is declared as 0 at the beginning, and it says while X is less than 5, add 1 to X each time I run it. So my X starts at 0. The first time I go through it, X is going to be, well, it's going to add 1 to it, so it's going to be 1. The second time I run through it, adds again. 2 is still less than 5, so I keep running. It's going to add 1, so I get a 3. It's going to add another 1. 4 is still less than 5, so I keep going. That fifth loop, it's going to add 1 and then stop, okay? It stops because X is equal to 5. Since X is equal to 5, the loop stops. Because our condition, notice here, our condition was that X had to be less than 5 for it to run. Since X is 5, it is no longer less than 5, so now it stops. You're going to be doing this same process here for the rest of your problems on your practice, okay? So go ahead, get started. Good luck.